Hey everybody, welcome to installment number 2 of Average Guy Opinions. My name's John Corelli, I'm your host. I don't know if I'm really hosting anything besides my opinions. Um, this isn't so much of an opinion, just what's going on in my life. Like I said, I'm always telling you guys how lucky I am. And I really have been. I've had a pretty charmed life in a lot of ways. Just being a white male is a big part of that. But I just found out my father has cancer. Now, I don't think I'm gonna get terribly emotional in this video, but it sucks. I mean, it's no shock. He's been smoking since 1960. He's 74. He started smoking when he was 14 years old. Put this in perspective. He was smoking before they even had the Surgeon General's warnings on the packs. That didn't happen until 62, I believe. So he was smoking when, not that people thought they were healthy, come on, but he was still smoking when there was no official Surgeon General's warning saying, these will kill you. So he's often been in denial about it, even when he told me about it. He told me New Year's Eve, and I didn't want to put it on installment number 1 to start the New Year's Eve with a bummer, so I waited till today. What really hurts about it, though, is that we just haven't had a really good relationship. My parents were divorced when I was 6 years old. Back then in the 70s, men really didn't, I don't know if they didn't have the rights or they just didn't fight for the rights or this was just the standard. But you would see your father every other weekend as per court order generally. And that's what was going on with me and my dad. And oftentimes, he was young. I was born a month before he turned 21. My mom was 19. So the fact that I'm not completely feral is a pretty good testament to at least they tried. I'm not a complete animal, so I think they did a pretty good job. But he was not a big influence in my life from ages 7 to 17. He was there. He stayed in the state. He stayed in the city. But when they got divorced, he was still only 26, 27 years old, and it was the 70s. I mean, he was going out and getting tail, man. He told me some crazy stories. So, I get it. I understand why, he was selfish, to be fair, in a lot of ways, but he was there most weekends for me, or most every other weekend for me. And so, but the real regrets I have are now because he just never has time to do anything. His health has been really bad for about 5 years. So the cancer isn't a surprise. The surprise is the cancer waited till now to show up. It took 60 years to get here. And he may be fine. It's just a node in his lung, and they may take care of it, and maybe he has another 5, 10 years left on this planet. Maybe he has 20. Some people treat their bodies horribly and live for a very long time. I'm proof of that. I just do it with food. But I imagine these years, me at 53 and him at 74, I had a picture, I think we all do, of how we're going to spend those years with our dads and our mothers in their retirement years. My dad has an amazing jazz record collection. Not just jazz records, comedy records. Part of the reason I do comedy is he raised me on Richard Pryor and George Carlin on vinyl when I would see him on those weekends. Really inappropriate, probably. It's like 8, 9 years old hearing Pryor say outlandish things. But that's helped make me me. And dad's also gotten bitter with age. But anyway, back to what I was going to say. You have this picture of hopefully that you can spend a really good amount of quality time with your father and mother as they get into their 70s, as they hit retirement years. Like I pictured listening to these amazing records again with him in his old age, but everything's packed away. He has 2 amazing turntables that he bought in the 80s. Really good equipment, speakers. They're all packed away in his garage. All of his albums are packed away in a little closet. They're just stuffed in a closet. It's a bummer because it's like, dude, and he has like 500. It's not like a small album collection. It's probably worth something. He keeps saying that. He's like, well, we really need to get these things on eBay or sell them to somebody. I was like, why don't you just enjoy them? Why don't you just enjoy these things you bought years ago? Get out the turntable, get out the needle. Let's listen to these together. Tell me your experiences, man. I mean, my dad was raised in New York until we came here when he was 26 and I was 5. we, he was a New York person. Even when I was a baby, he would go out and do cool shit, see amazing comedians. He saw Lenny Bruce in New York, before Lenny Bruce died. Like, my father was very young. He was like 17 or 18 when he did that, before I was even around. He saw amazing jazz musicians in New York. And all that's gone, and that sucks. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, by the way. I'm trying to avoid aging that way, going into this bitter tunnel where he's super unhappy. I get it. Part of it's the health, but part of it's just having Fox News on constantly in the house is not a good thing. I come in, it's right there on the wall, and I come in, I'm just like, oh man, let the indoctrination continue. And then he just starts bitching because I'm one of the few people that still gives a shit about him and will listen to it for a few minutes. And then I finally kind of snap and go, Dad, shut the fuck up. I don't have those kind of balls, but eventually I do just go, Dad, okay, enough. So the man has cancer. Where do we go from here? I don't know. I've been very fortunate. I've had very few people in my life have cancer. One of those people who has handled it amazingly well, and she may watch this, she may not, it's okay. Her name's Joya Albee. She was my girlfriend in 1988, and she's been through the cancer fucking, I don't even know how to put it. She's dealt with a lot and dealt with it amazingly well. She keeps living her life as full as she can. She has every right to have given up and died, but she has kids to live for. She has a really cool life to live for, and I give her all the credit in the world because I don't know if I could. I don't know if a lot of us could deal with that the way she has, which is great. My dad, on the other hand, this will be quite a journey. Now, I had a grandmother die of cancer back in 2010, but she was 84, and she pretty much resigned herself to the fact that, okay, it was her third battle with cancer. And the other times she was in New York, I didn't really get to know of her trials and tribulations with cancer. Same with my grandfather. I didn't see much of that either. I saw a little bit, but I'm going to probably be my dad's main guy for this journey. And, my brother too, actually. I can't. He's dealt with it really well too. The better a person deals with something, the more apt you are to maybe forget that they even dealt with something. So which is kind of unfair. It's kind of almost opposite of the way it should work. But my half brother Sean Hedden, he's been dealing with cancer for a few years now. And he's dealing really well with it, and he's amazing too. So I mean, there are definitely people in my life that have dealt with it, but I haven't had to be the main prop they lean on, and that's my role now. It'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to talk about it here. That was a funny thing my dad said. He said, don't tell anybody. I'm like, all right, I'll tell the 3 people that are going to watch this video. I'm going to tell my mother, and I'm going to tell my kids. That is probably about all I'm going to tell, unless this crazy average guy opinions things blows up somehow. But that's what's going on in not so much my life, but his. It's for me. It may be a minor inconvenience when I got to take him to the hospital or deal with him dying, which is going to happen anyway. But it's just a little thing that I just feel bad. Like I said, it's not so much about the cancer; it's about a relationship that never really went that great. It's about always dreaming about, well, man, I really want to have this with my dad. I want to be able to spend time with him when we get older and have dinner together and laugh and listen to jazz albums and listen to Carlin, listen to Pryor. None of that's happening. That's the real sad part. All I can do is hope for him that he doesn't deal with a lot of pain. He's, like I said, he's really had health problems for the last 5 to 10 years. His feet are fucking purple. I mean, because the circulation in his body is so poor. He can walk, but he doesn't do it well. He carries the oxygen, and I laugh because he also still smokes. He's the guy, right? He is the stereotypical guy you see in front of the hospital once in a while that has a big oxygen tank next to him and puffing away. That's my dad. So, I'm going to try to dig some more information out of him because he's also a very secretive fellow. And hopefully I'll find out some cool things about him and hopefully can share some things before he leaves this planet, leaves this mortal coil, as we like to say sometimes. Anyway, I'm closing in on 10 minutes. Thank you for listening. I hope you're all doing well. If you want to comment on this video or just talk, please feel free to hit me up. Have a great January 2nd. Talk to you soon.